Ladies and gentlemen, if you could make your way to your seats, we're going to be starting the program shortly. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. I want to invite you, if you haven't yet found your seats, to please go ahead and make your way to your seats. We'll get started with the program presently. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for being here today and for helping us celebrate the Chamber's annual State of the State Luncheon. My name is Matt Morrow, and I'm privileged to serve as the president of the Springfield Area Chamber of Commerce, and very, very honored to welcome you here today. It's truly a pleasure to welcome each of you, and I also want to welcome everyone who is joining us virtually, because in addition to the great turnout that we've had today, we have many, many more watching online. It's a great honor to welcome Governor Mike Parson and First Lady Teresa Parson here with us today. We're gonna welcome them again, but let's go ahead and do that right now if we could. We are so excited to hear the vision that the governor is going to share for the future of Missouri today. There have certainly been challenges over the last year. We all know that, and we are facing challenges now as a community and as a state. But there are also many celebrations to recognize, and I'm excited to share a few of those in just a few moments as well. Before we get into the program, though, I'd like to introduce Dawn Zaralban, who is here today with the Ozarks Lyric Opera, and she's going to sing our national anthem. So would you please rise with me as we sing our national anthem?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you so much, Dawn, for that beautiful and inspiring performance. That's wonderful, isn't it? Well, we do have a very full agenda for today, so I want to encourage you, if you haven't already done this, please to go ahead and start helping yourselves to your salads as we get started today. I do want to take just a moment to thank Chartwells and their team for providing today's meal. And as I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of accomplishments to celebrate. This was a very successful year in the Missouri State Legislature, and while I don't want to steal the governor's thunder, he has a lot of great news to share today. I can't miss the opportunity to say thank you from the business community for the work that you did, for your leadership, Governor, and for the leadership of so many in the legislature who are represented here today as well, to help get some major long-term legislative priorities across the finish line in our state. Some of those wins that you'll hear more about later today: the passage of legislation to collect internet sales tax, also known as Wayfair, a gas tax to provide much-needed additional funding for Missouri's roads and infrastructure, COVID-19 liability protections for businesses, the establishment of a statewide prescription drug monitoring program, and key funding priorities for education, workforce, numerous other local priorities. It was a big legislative session, and these are just a few of the many wins that we saw this year, and we're going to hear more about later today. So I want to thank the governor. Also want to thank all the state legislators that helped get these bills across the finish line, and certainly the governor's team and everyone involved in this, and the governor's personal longtime commitment to these priorities even before becoming governor. As we celebrate this progress and what it can mean for the state of Missouri, I also have to pause and acknowledge the challenges that we are now facing as we continue to face these challenges and how we move forward to be in the best position possible to protect ourselves and others from this ongoing pandemic. The best way to get back to normal, as we all know, as a community and as a state, is to increase our overall vaccination rate. And I know you as business leaders are committed to this and already are doing all that you can do to help keep us moving in the right direction, and ask you to continue to do that, please. If you or your employees aren't yet vaccinated, I just want to encourage you. It's a personal decision, certainly, but I want to encourage you to talk to your doctor or to your health care provider about your questions or concerns, and encourage your employees to do the same. And getting vaccinated, of course, as we know, is a key part of how we ease the burden on our health care workers and our path to full economic recovery. So it's a key message here. We don't want to miss that today. We're blessed to have such amazing healthcare partners in our community who continue to care for so many during this pandemic. Some of you are represented here today. I want to thank you for your continued work in our community. Also want to thank the Majors Health and Wellness Center, who will be offering vaccinations on site to anybody who's interested on your way out today. If you haven't yet received that vaccination and would like to, you can do that today as well. And I want to thank Governor Parson for your commitment to this effort also, and for rolling out Missouri's vaccine incentive program last week. If you haven't enrolled in that as someone who's vaccinated in the state, please do that. It's an opportunity to just help continue to move that ball forward, and we've seen tremendous response in just a few short days. It's just another way that we can encourage people to take another look at trying to help us around the corner here as a community. So we're all in it together, so just please use the solution that's available to us to the extent you can. Look, I know you are just as excited as I am, and everyone else here is, about hearing from the governor about his outlook for the state of Missouri. And I want to thank all of you for coming here today. I want to thank the governor and First Lady for speaking with us today, and very, very grateful for the continued service to our state and for your love of Missouri. It's just an honor to host you today. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge many of our elected officials who have joined us today. Very, very pleased to have you with us. And as I call your name, if you would, please stand. And for the rest of us, if you would just hold your applause to the end, we'll recognize them together. We have state senators here today, including Senator Sandy Crawford, Senator Carla Esslinger, and Senator Lincoln Huff. And I bumped into him on the way in, and I know I run some risk by recognizing past state senators, but past state Senator Jay Wasson is with us today as well. State Representatives Mitch Boggs and Craig Fischel, Bill Owen, Alex Riley, and Curtis Trent are all with us today. From the city of Springfield, Mayor Ken McClure, Mayor Pro Tem Matt Simpson, Councilwoman Heather Hardinger, and Councilman Richard Ollis are all with us. From Greene County, Judge Jerry Harmison is here today. We also have members of the Ozarks Technical Community College Board of Trustees and the Springfield Board of Education here today as well. And in addition, we have several regional elected officials from surrounding communities and counties. So if I haven't named you and you are in that description, please go ahead and stand so that we can recognize you. And finally, representing our federal legislative delegation from U.S. Senator Roy Blunt's office, Sonia Anderson is here. From U.S. Senator Josh Hawley's office, Aaron Engelmeyer is here. And from Congressman Billy Long's office, Mike Ussery is with us today as well. Would you please join me in recognizing and thanking all of these public servants for being here today? I'd also like to recognize our 2021 Springfieldian Award winner. Warren Davis is with us today. Warren, welcome. Thank you. Congratulations on the Springfieldian Award. And I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors for today's program. We absolutely could not present this event without the support of sponsors who are willing to invest in programs like this one. So I want to take just a moment to start by recognizing our presenting sponsor, Hartman & Company, and specifically Dean Hartman and Mary Beth Hartman are with us today at the head table. Let's thank them. And a big thank you to our gold sponsors, Burrow Behavioral Health, the Greater Springfield Board of Realtors, Jeff Childs Commercial Real Estate, and Missouri State University. In addition, I also want to thank our silver sponsors and the numerous corporate sponsors who supported today's event. And finally, I want to thank our legacy of leadership sponsors who have provided above and beyond support to the Chamber's work throughout 2021. Those legacy of leadership sponsors are Associated Electric Cooperative, Focal Point Outdoor Solutions, and Mercy Springfield Communities. Would you please help me thank all of these sponsors today? Well, I can't tell you how excited we are to be able to host this event in this venue, in the JQH Arena. Missouri State University and this facility in particular specifically are such assets to our community and tremendous partners in our community. We're so grateful for the partnership that we have with Missouri State University, and I've asked President of Missouri State, Cliff Smart, to come join us today, and of course his entire team does a tremendous job in just educating our future workforce and in partnering on events and programs like this. So at this time, I'd like to welcome him to the stage to say a few words. So would you please help me welcome Missouri State University President Cliff Smart.
Good morning. Welcome to campus and welcome to JQH Arena, the home of the back-to-back Sweet 16 Lady Bears basketball team. Yeah, we ought to clap for that. We're working on being able to say that for the men's team as well, and I think we will soon. As an aside, if anyone would like to have their name on this beautiful arena, see me after lunch. Have I got a deal for you? You know, we at Missouri State University are excited to be able to host this State of the State event with Governor Parson today. Our campus would not look like it does, and we would not be able to serve students as well as we do without his support. The renovation of Ellis Hill and Campeter Halls, the rebuilding of the Grand Street Underpass about to begin, a major funding increase, and new funding to expand our health programs are all directly the result of his commitment to workforce development and higher education. And without those state-of-the-art facilities and expanded funding, we would not have been able to graduate 5,800 students last year, the most in the history of the university. Higher education is a critical part of workforce development in our state, and Missouri State University is proud to be an important part of that. Governor, on behalf of the students, faculty, and staff of Missouri State University, welcome to campus. Thank you for your support.
Thank you so much, Cliff, and not only for today, but just for the many, many ways that you partner and lead in our community. Thank you so much. I want to also share with the group that our chairman of the board, Logan Aguirre, will be back shortly to resume the program and to officially introduce Governor Parson. But for now, I'd like to invite everyone to just enjoy your lunch, and we'll resume the program in just a few minutes.
Good afternoon. Please keep eating. We're so happy to have you all here today, and it's my honor that I get to introduce our keynote speaker today, Governor Parson. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah? Good. Thank you. For those who I don't know, I'm Logan Aguirre, publisher at 417 Magazine, and this year have the honor of serving as the chairman of the Chamber Board. I'm excited today for us to talk about Missouri's future, and I want to make sure that we have a time to just say thank you. That's really what we're here about more than anything. We've had incredible challenges over the last year. We're still in a lot of those challenges as a community, for our public officials, our healthcare and frontline workers, and our business community. Thank you for all that you are doing and continue to do on behalf of 417 Land. I'm grateful that we can continue to come together as a community, as a state, as a region, and today to hear from Governor Parson. A couple months ago, I had the opportunity to speak at the Chamber annual meeting, and a lot of my remarks were about the lessons that we've learned the past year and how we can take those and focus on the future. Even in the face of a pandemic, the Chamber and business leaders from across the state and across the area never lost focus. We continue to have impactful conversations about how to move our state and our region forward. As Matt mentioned earlier, we have many things to celebrate this past year, and I'm excited for all we're going to continue to accomplish. It's my honor that I get to introduce Governor Parson today. During my time on the Chamber Board, I've had the opportunity to be in the Capitol several times, advocating for priorities that ensure we have a great climate to continue to prosper as a business community. I also had the chance to interview him for Biz 417's Think Summit a couple years ago. I know the passion he has for the state, and specifically, although he can't say it, but we can say, he loves Southwest Missouri. Are we your favorites? I know he can't say it, but we're gonna say it. He has a long history of public service. He has served as sheriff of Polk County and in the Missouri House and Senate. He has served as Missouri's 47th Lieutenant Governor. He resides in Bolivar with his wife, Teresa, who's here with us today. Together, they have 2 children and 6 grandchildren. Since he took office, he has prioritized 2 issues and consistently kept them in his focus: workforce development and infrastructure funding. And always, even through the crisis of COVID-19, he has continued to focus on these through the lens of recovery. Because of his leadership and the leadership of so many of you in this room, including legislators and business leaders, we had a lot to celebrate in this recent legislative session. So many things that will have a positive impact on our state and region for years to come. It would be an understatement to say that this year has been a difficult time to serve as a public official, so we sincerely appreciate his service to our state, and we're so pleased to have him here with us today. It is my honor to introduce the 57th Governor of the state of Missouri, Mike Parson. Ready?
Good afternoon, Springfield. Logan, thank you very much. Thank you. What a great time to be here. And as she says, Southwest Missouri is very close to my home. I'll just say that on that, Logan. But good try on those remarks. First of all, it's good to be back here. Good to see what a great crowd here. So many people I'd like to just thank for everything they've done over the last 19 months dealing with a crisis in our state. But I think when you heard Matt speak, representing the chamber today, you know, you just can't do one thing and put all your priorities on that. Being governor of the state of Missouri, being with the chamber, you have to do multiple things all the time and make sure that you can keep Missouri's economy going along with everything else. So first of all, you know, before I get started on my remarks, I might give you a little insight into being governor. So I want to know, I'm going to share something personal with you today for the first time here. So, did you know in 2020, with everything else going on, there was an election? Did you guys know that? By the way, I won that election, in case you didn't know, is why I'm up here today. with all that going on. But let me share with you kind of a little bit on home. So I win my first election as governor, right? So it's kind of a big deal to me for coming from where I came from and to be up there. So that night, me and Teresa was in bed, and I said to Teresa, I said, honey, in your wildest of wildest dreams, did you ever think you'd be here with me as governor of the state of Missouri? Dead silence. I said, Teresa, did you hear me? Because I know I go to sleep first. She doesn't. She said, I heard you, Mike. I said, in your wildest dreams, did you ever believe that I'd be governor of the state of Missouri? She said, Mike, you wasn't in my wildest of wildest dreams. So you get humbled pretty good. Please welcome the First Lady of the state of Missouri, Teresa Parson. I promise you at some point I will be serious. Now, I come to Springfield today to do the state of the state, right? So, you know, Cliff, pretty wise at his business and understands I'm coming to Springfield, right? And I'm coming to his university. So he says, by the way, we'd like for you to come by and look at one of our buildings. So I think good old Cliff's really here to brag on me because he got a lot done in state legislature, got several $1 million this year and all this kind of stuff, and was going to tell us, Lincoln, how great a job we did, senators. He said, by the way, Governor, while you're here, see this old building here? This building's really bad. We need another $60 or $80 million. And I said, we just signed the budget 3 weeks ago, and you're already hitting me for money. So anyhow, good job, Cliff. I told Hal not to say a word about it while he was here on that. Let me just say this. The last 19 months has been a very difficult time for everybody in the state of Missouri, just not me, for everybody in the state of Missouri. And I understood at that point the importance of being governor at critical times, how it is challenging for everybody. The one thing that I think was the most challenging thing for me during that time period was to really, you could not focus on one thing. As much as you would like to focus strictly on a crisis, which there was lots of things to be done there, you still had to worry about everyday people. You had to worry about the people going to work that stayed the course. You had to worry about how the economy was going to respond, how we was going to respond to the state of Missouri. So when I say a balanced approach, it's not a balanced approach about one issue. It's about multiple issues as governor that you had to figure out how you move through this. And for most of you have heard this by many leaders say this, there was nobody that knew what to do. There was no playbook that you could turn around and say, this is what you do in the middle of a crisis like this. You can't get on Google and you can't get on the internet and find the answers. All of us, you today as business leaders, Chamber of Commerce, presidents of universities, schools, we had to figure out what was the best path forward for Missouri. So yes, it was a challenging time, but I will assure you this, as I've talked to other governors across the United States and other ones, I think when this is all said and done, we're going to look back and say we did a pretty good job here in Missouri of taking care of business and taking care of our people, our state, by working together, and we will continue to do that from the state level on that. So let me just say that before we get started, but it always feels like coming home when I'm in Southwest Missouri. It's hard to believe that it's already been a year since I was before you last, and what a year it has been. Last year, Missouri has faced many challenges, but every challenge was met with determination and common sense, and we have achieved some major accomplishments because of it. This year is different from last year. 2021 has offered great opportunities for our state and countless reasons to celebrate. As many of you know, this year is Missouri's bicentennial year. And August the 10th, we will mark 200 years since Missouri joined the Union as the 24th state. I want you to reflect a little bit on that statement right there, and you think of everything this state has been through in 200 years, of all the history of our state. And you soon realize how proud it is to live in this state. But you also realize that we've always overcome challenges in this state. And here we are, better than ever before with all the things we've been through. To celebrate, the Missouri Bicentennial Commission is hosting ice cream socials and other events all across the state. The First Lady and I have also embarked on our bicentennial tour. Just recently at my table, I was telling them about Maxie the goose. So if you're not familiar with that, you haven't really know the state of Missouri very well if you don't know where Maxie the goose is. The world's largest goose in the world, I might add. You can Google that when I get done. We have been making stops at small towns all across the state to showcase the rich history that these towns have to offer. From small towns along U.S. Highway 36 in northern Missouri to towns and cities along Route 66 in southern Missouri and all areas in between. The First Lady and I have found that no matter where we are in this state, all Missourians want what's best for their families and for our state. Our cities and towns are the heart and soul of the state and make Missouri such a great place to live, work, and raise a family. Throughout the history, we have faced sacrifice, uncertainty, tragedy, but with each moment of darkness, there seems to return a tenfold of hope. That is in large part to our Missouri towns, where people keep their faith and family close and never fail to extend a helping hand to neighbors in need. That is why I am so blessed to be the governor of the great state of Missouri, especially during our state's bicentennial year. And I hope you all will join us in celebrating this year. On September the 18th, in Jefferson City, we will be hosting a historic bicentennial parade and inaugural ball. And Springfield's very own Ned Reynolds will be the MC of that event. This will embark the first time an inaugural ball has been held outside in our state's history so the public can attend. So I invite all of you to the state capitol on September the 18th to attend the parade and be part of history. Not only was 2021 brought the opportunity to celebrate our state's 200th birthday, it also brought significant economic opportunities. When we last spoke, our state was still reeling from the economic consequences of COVID-19 and facing double-digit unemployment. Today, Missouri's unemployment rate stands at 4.3, one of the lowest unemployment rates in the nation, and we have recovered the vast majority of jobs lost to the pandemic. Last year, we were also facing historic budget shortfalls and revenues loss. This year, we're experiencing record revenue increases over pre-pandemic 2019 levels, which will allow us to make major investments for the next generations of Missourians. Missourians are getting back to work, even as the state and nation are facing significant labor shortages. Recently, facing over 220,000 job openings across the state, we became one of the first states to end all federal pandemic-related unemployment benefits. Including the additional $300 a week in extended benefits that were supposed to be temporary but ultimately incentivized individuals to stay out of the workforce. The solution to helping Missourians face financial hardship is not the excessive spending of taxpayer dollars, but rather a good paying job. Markets work, and we must make sure we are fostering market competition and getting government out of the way. By partnering with the private sector, making smart public-private investments, and preventing unnecessary government intervention. Missouri has become a hub for economic opportunity and is leading the nation in several areas. And let me just run through a few of these for you. And let this sink in as I say them about our state, about your community. All of the reason I can do this next list is because of the work you guys done, for the chambers done, for business leaders in these communities. We are now first in the United States of America for small business wage growth, which means you are paying a good wage here in this part of the state. We are second in the United States for apprenticeship programs, which goes back to our workforce development pieces. We are fourth in the United States for the best place to retire. We are seventh in the United States for people relocating to our state. We are eighth in the United States for best places to work for nurses. We are ninth in the United States for military retirees. We are 10th in the United States for new business expansions. And we are 11th in the United States for site selections, which means people are looking at Springfield, Missouri to bring their businesses to this state. And Springfield, St. Louis, and Kansas City are listed among the best places to live in America. According to the June jobs report, Missouri saw an increase of 130,000 jobs from June 2020 to June 21, and recovering more than 70% of the jobs lost to COVID-19. As many of you are aware, Missouri has a leading manufacturing industry, and we are also now ranked fourth in the United States for new manufacturing facilities coming to our state. But the June job report reveals that one remaining hurdle recovery is the shortage of semiconductor chips. I'm sure all of you have heard that in the news. And matter of fact, I'm one of those guys sitting on the sidelines waiting, which has slowed the automobile manufacturing in our state and across the nation. The state recently partnered with Global Wafers to bring $210 million in semiconductor manufacturing investment and 75 new jobs to the state of Missouri to fix this problem. In the Show Me State, we don't rely on other states or nations to find the solution. We step up and address the problems head on. The partnership and others help strengthen our connection to global supply chains, promote American manufacturing, and support good-paying jobs right here in Missouri. Speaking of business investments, companies continue to invest and expand in Missouri with nearly $2.5 billion invested and 10,000 new jobs created. In 2021, so far, has remained a top destination for business investment. Our administration has participated in several new developments and expansions all across the state, including Casey's General Store Distribution Center in Joplin, Missouri, $62 million investment, 125 new jobs. John Deere Reham, right here in Springfield, $7.2 million investment, 130 new jobs. Carlson Construction Materials in Sykeston, $62 million investment, 100 new jobs. Swift Prepared Foods in Columbia and Moberly, $268 million in investments, 551 jobs. Cereal Ingredients in St. Joe, $24 million investment, 60 new jobs. Missouri Prime Beef Packers in Pleasant Hope, $10 million in investment, 225 new jobs. The Durham Company in Buffalo, $5 million investment, 50 new jobs. Elite Tool in Moscow Mills with $3 million investment, 20 new jobs. Frozen Food Express in Butler, Missouri, $6 million investment, 60 new jobs. Consolidated Machinery and Welding in Hannibal, $4.3 million in investment, 30 new jobs. And Deli Star in St. Louis with nearly $100 million in investment and 475 new jobs. That is all since the beginning of this year. I'm telling you, Missouri is on the right track. And for any of you trying to figure out how many of the millions were that I just said, it's $780 million and thousands of new jobs we just created in this state. Those numbers don't even include the rest of the great work the Department of Economic Development continues to do in our state. As you can see, we're receiving good news on the economic front, and all indicators expect our progress to continue. Missouri's economy is strong. More and more jobs are coming to Missouri each day. Our economy is on the right track and continues to expand. And you can rest assured that our administration will continue our efforts to build on this momentum and support Missouri families, businesses, and communities. Part of the reason I'm able to stand before you today and outline our economic success rather than failures is because here in Missouri, we took a balanced approach to the pandemic. We followed our Show Me Strong Recovery Plan and focused on 4 pillars that we continue to do today: testing, PPE, hospital capacity, and data. This, coupled with the vaccine, is how we prevent serious illness from COVID-19 going forward. And we must encourage all eligible Missourians to get a vaccine. We also promoted the use of common sense in our decision making, and while that may not seem like a novel idea, when you look to some of the policies and mandates in other states, you find that common sense may not be so common. We never had mandates or forced business or churches to close. We laid out the facts to Missourians and provided support to our communities. You all know your communities and employees best, and we trust you to make decisions that best serve the people you care. And because of it, we protected lives and livelihoods. Missouri is a diverse state, and a one-size-fits-all approach will never work in this state. During my 2021 State of the State address, I challenged the legislature to support workforce development and infrastructure, strengthen our communities, and improve government. This year, we were able to pass long-awaited legislation in the state of Missouri. For the first time in 25 years, we will increase revenues for the state road fund and local transportation projects with the passage of Senate Bill 262. Missouri has the 7th largest transportation system in the country, and we rank 45th among states for available revenue for our roads. The bill will increase transportation funding by as much as $450 million per year. In addition to current funding, an estimated $330 million per year will be available for the State Road Fund. In Springfield, this is what you want to hear. And approximately $125 million will go directly to cities and counties for local transportation projects, and that is good news for Springfield, Missouri. Ken? This bill provides vital revenues that will help us fund essential road and bridge projects all across the state of Missouri. Because quality roads and bridges increase the efficiency and safety of our roadways. They promote tourism and business investment and save money and save lives. However, it is also important for Missourians to know there is a refund option. Missourians can simply submit a form to the Department of Revenue in order to opt out if they so choose. Again, a balanced approach to an issue that had to be addressed. Another piece of major legislation we passed that I know Ken and Matt, the city and the chamber was big into this issue, we passed this year was called Wayfair, which allows the state and local jurisdictions to collect an online use tax As a small business owner myself, protecting Missourians' brick and mortar businesses will always be a priority of our administration. Wayfair legislation evens the playing field between Missouri small businesses and large out-of-state retailers. We should never get people from out of our state an advantage over Missourians' businesses that own brick and mortar in this state. With more than 570,000 small businesses in the state of Missouri, it was past time that we establish a 21st century tax code that benefits our Main Street businesses, rather than companies that don't invest in our communities or employ our citizens. We need to also be able to get COVID-19 liability legislation across the finish line. Senate Bill 51 and 42 protects Missouri businesses from frivolous COVID-19 related lawsuits. We were determined to protect Missouri's healthcare providers, our manufacturers, our businesses, our churches, our schools, and others who quickly altered their operations to protect public health and accommodate the needs of Missourians when COVID-19 struck. Those who protect us during one of the hardest days of pandemic should not be penalized for their efforts, and now they won't be. This past season, we also made real progress in fighting the opioid epidemic by joining the rest of the nation in establishing the Prescription Drug Monitoring Program by signing Senate Bill 63. PDMP will help provide necessary information to healthcare professionals and empower them to make decisions that better serve their patient. The legislation is long overdue in our state and will help prevent substance abuse. Needless to say, this legislative session has brought historical wins to our state and citizens. And we thank each of you for your efforts in helping getting all these priorities across the finish line. We began this year facing unprecedented challenges, but by working together, we are conquering every challenge in front of us. Now, we are refocusing on our workforce development and our infrastructure priorities. We are increasing Missouri's marketability for business expansions by investing in roads, bridges, and broadband. We are assisting job seekers with education and training programs, the ultimate goal of supporting good-paying jobs for every Missourian, all in an effort to prepare our children and workforce for the demands of the future. From rural areas to the big cities, Missouri offers so much to so many, and others want to come to Missouri because of our values, our hard work, and our common sense approach. We are moving forward in this state, and our future is bright. It is an honor and privilege to be your 57th governor of the great state of Missouri. God bless you, God bless Missouri, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you for having me here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Governor Parson, for being here today and for all the fantastic updates. We can clearly see the passion you have for our state, and we continue all the hard work you continue to do to help continue to move us forward. With your leadership, the work of our elected officials, and the engagement of the business community, I know I'm excited about the future of our state and the chance that we have to continue to partner together on shared priorities. Please help me one more time thank Governor Parson for being here today. As we wrap up today, I want to make sure we thank our sponsors one more time. Dean and Mary Beth Hartman from Hartman & Co., thank you so much for being our presenting sponsor today. Help me thank them. know each of you here today cares about the future of our state, and each of us has a role and responsibility as we work together toward continued economic prosperity for all of us. I want to thank the business community for being so engaged this legislative session. Your feedback to the governor and outreach to lawmakers and our presence in Jefferson City all made an impact. I hope you continue to do that as we move forward. I am so grateful for the support of the Springfield Chamber and for the support of all of you for our community. A reminder on your way out today that Majors Health and Wellness is offering vaccines if you're interested in that. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Governor and First Lady Parson. Hope everyone has a great afternoon.